Next question, the Honorable Member for Bwacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question 257.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member for Bwacha, Mr. Mushanga, is asking my ministry whether in A, the government had authorized the FinGen Managerials Group to train the youths across the country as financial counselors. In B, if so, how many youths were targeted in each constituency? In C, whether the candidates were required to pay for the program. In D, if so, how much was charged per candidate? In E, why the payment was required? And in F, what the government's role in the program is. Our response, Madam Speaker, is that FinGen Managerials Group in A was indeed authorized to train the youth across the country as financial counselors by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development through minute number MLGRD/101/4 and dated 6th February 2023. And the National Assembly also through minute number NAS/1/21 dated 23rd June 2023 and was issued to the group. Further, Madam Speaker, it should be noted that the ministry came to know about the group through the parliamentary question from the Honorable Member of Parliament, Mr. Mushanga, seeking clarifications regarding the group. Question B, the answer is as follows. FinGen Managerials Group targeted to train 25,000 youth countrywide. However, the target per constituency was not uniform and was dependent on the population of the constituency and the number of the youth applying to be trained as financial counselors. Question C, our response. Madam Speaker, it should be noted that the candidates were required to pay to enable them undertake financial literacy training program. In D, the area member of parliament may also wish to note that each candidate being trained as a district financial counsellor and as also just a financial counsellor were expected to pay 200 kwacha before commencement of training. In E, our response is the 200 kwacha payment was required to facilitate provision of financial literacy training materials and payment of facilitators. And the last one, Madam Speaker, the role of government in this program is to merely identify and recommend the youth to undergo training as either district financial counselors or just financial counselors. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Mukushi North.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the responses that you have given on this matter. Are you aware, Honorable Minister, that other than the 200 kwachas which were collected from the youths, there were also 87 kwachas which were collected from the marketeers and indeed small scale traders that were trained by these youths who were trained by FinGen. If you are aware, what is the position of government on this matter on the 87 kwachas? Is it part of the agreement which is actually in the MOUs which was signed by FinGen and government? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, we are very much aware of the 87 kwacha. That's where I'll start from. And I also want to indicate that this is a program that have gone well apart from Mukushi. Because in Mukushi, we had councillors who were engaged to train marketeers in financial literacy, but they were not paid. I would say they were delayed in getting their pay. And as I'm talking to you now, those issues are being resolved. In fact, some of them have really started getting their pay. Now, when we talk about the 87 kwacha, Honorable Member, I said the 200 kwacha was paid to FinGen Group because of the facilitation when it came to financial literacy. Now, the 87 kwacha which is being paid by marketeers is the money that they are paying these district financial councillors. Each district financial councillor is getting 1,800 kwacha from the same 87 kwacha which marketeers or small order businessmen and women are paying. So we are very much aware of the 87 kwacha. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chirubi.
Madam Speaker, the Minister did indicate that the selection plan of the youth was based on the population density. Is in a position to tell the House of how that 25,000 was distributed across the nation?
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want, Madam Speaker, to indicate the fact that our role as government, first and foremost, is just to help in identification of the financial councillors and members of parliament. It is just that as members of parliament, sometimes we feel we are not part of government. So if members of parliament are involved in identifying these councillors, then we are very positive that it's government. So that's why we said government. Not necessarily that the Minister of Youth and Sport has sent people to go identify these financial councillors, but through members of parliament and through a minute from National Assembly, I believe that as government we are playing a role. So, Madam Speaker, I may not be able to go into the nitty-gritties of what this company is doing, because I think our role is very, very clear, just to identify. So this is the information that we had to extract from a FinGen group. So I may not be able to tell how many, as I said in my earlier submission. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Minister, since the authority to train the young people was given by the government through Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, is there any memorandum of understanding signed between the government of the Republic of Zambia, either through Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, or your ministry, a minister? I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that follow-up question. As I had indicated in my earlier submission, that we came to know about FinGen Group through local government and also through a question. That's why we had now to look around and see some of these minutes I had referred to. The Ministry of Youth, Sport and Arts have not signed any MOU with the FinGen Group, but I think I needed to consult further if there was any MOU that was signed between local government and this particular group. Right now, I may not be able to tell. Maybe I would like to invite honorable member maybe to come to our offices so that we'll be able by then to provide more information about what he has asked about. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
The honorable member for Kabwe Central.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Minister, I'm happy you have confirmed that there's a 200 kwacha that you are aware that our children were paying for training. Now, I want to find out whether there's a supervision from government to see how FinGen is training our children, because what is obtaining is that children, they pay 200 kwacha. For example, in Kabwe, they had 120, they raised 24,000, but when it came to training, they only given a financial coordinator was only given 3,500 to train 120 youth in one day. What kind of training can they give? So are you supervising FinGen, the type of education they are giving to our youth? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member, for that important follow-up question. Madam Speaker, I think the background is very, very clear. I still want to repeat that we came to learn about the FinGen Group from the question that was asked by Honorable Mshanga. So from that question, we started now asking questions. That's how we had to get even a minute under local government and also a minute from National Assembly. So I think our preoccupation for us was to make sure that at least our marketeers, our small order farmers are able to be engaged when it comes to financial literacy. So we couldn't go into those details to find out how they are using the money, because I think our role was very, very clear to help in identifying the financial counselors. We couldn't go beyond the role of just identification. I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Pika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, before I ask my question, please allow me to send my commiserations to the people of Tanzania on the death of their former head of state, Ali Hassan Mwinyi, and also to thank them for having not harassed or insulted their former head of state when he was alive. That is the way it should be everywhere, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, FinGen publicized that they were looking for district financial counselors. Following that, a number of our people turned up, including in Mpika, and they shortlisted that perhaps to 25,000, which was their target. Looking at the contribution that they had asked, which is 200. Imagine, Madam Speaker, if 100,000 people had turned out, we are talking about 20 million for FinGen. In the same vein, Madam Speaker, there is another institution called ICOF. It went out looking for our youths, purporting that they had the training which our youths needed to undertake. And our youths paid a lot of money to that ICOF program. Madam Speaker, it is also a failure. I want to find out from government through the Minister of Sports, What measures are you putting in place to ensure that these institutions are not scamming our youths? They are not taking advantage of the high unemployment rate and go on the ground to scam our youths of their hard-working money. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And the Honorable Member, thank you very much for that loaded question, I would say. Madam Speaker, I want to state that this FinGen group is an affiliate of the Bank of Zambia, first and foremost, when we had to start checking. It's an affiliate of the Bank of Zambia under financial redress. They help Bank of Zambia in financial redress training. So we are very sure that indeed they are very credible. That's number one. Number two, Madam Speaker, the Member of Parliament had also to talk about something else, the ICOF program. Madam Speaker, this is a program which is domiciled in the Ministry of Youth, which is very different from the FinGen group. And this is a program that is there to help the vulnerable families, those that may not have the capacity to take their children to colleges and other universities. So that is an important program we should not even politicize. And I believe it has helped a lot of people. Indeed, when you start something, it may also have some teething issues. By the end of the day, these issues are resolved. Now, coming to the issue that we're discussing today, I indicated and I want to repeat, we came to know, Honorable Member, about FinGen Group through a question from Honorable Mushanga. But as a responsible government, we had to start digging deeper. That's how we came to know about the 200 kwachas that our young people are paying. In fact, it's not only the young people, even those small farmers and also marketeers are paying. And I believe that these marketeers are not part of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. But as a responsible government, we had to thoroughly check what is obtaining. So if people are multiplying 200 kwacha by I don't know which number, I may not go into such details, Madam Speaker, because our role is very clear, as I stated. And I believe that these people were called to some training, and some of them are happy that they have attained the financial literacy. So I think for us that is very, very important for our marketeers. And I believe that because there is a question now from Member of Parliament for Mpika, I'll be able to dig even more deeper so that we understand this particular group. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I'll take the last member who has been on the list. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And Minister, thank you very much for the responses. And it is good that your Minister and Minister of Local Government and Rural Development came to know about the activities of FinGen through the question that we are discussing on the floor of the House this morning. Honorable Madam Deputy Speaker, like in my constituents, more than 150 young people have been trained. And we are talking about more than 28,000 kwacha collected from these young people. As submitted by the Member of Parliament for Kabwe Central, this organization raises, for example, Madam Speaker, 24,000 kwacha. And then during the training of the young people, only 5,000 kwacha is released. And also after the training, like in my constituents, I'm giving an example of my constituents as a perfect example. These young people, Honorable Minister, have been trained, but at the end of the day, there is no activity in terms of what these young people were promised after the training, that they are going to carry out some works as district councillors or financial district councillors. So now that you know about this organization, Honorable Minister, FinGen, how are you going to come in as government to help these young people? Contributed money, they've been trained, then at the end of the day, they are very expectant of like getting employed. And it is very interesting, Madam Speaker, that in some cases, like submitted by the minister, in some constituencies, already young people are working and they are getting 1,800 kwacha. So in case of those who are not yet working and no activities, how are you going to come in as a government to help these young people? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As I said earlier, that now that we know that there could be some issues over this particular program, we are going to call this group, sit down and see how best we can resolve some of the issues that have been raised by honorable members. I submit.
Thank you. My apologies to the two honorable members. We have to make progress.